What's up, everyone? This is AllDestroyer229, and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 5 Royal. Last time, we continued to show off a bunch of new stuff that was introduced in the tutorial section. At this point, all we've gotten is that Ryuji now has just gotten his persona. But we've seen various other differences, such as the differences in the gun mechanic. So guns are a lot more helpful now. Hooray! In this episode, we still don't exactly have full control of everything, so let's go ahead and... Oh. Yeah, why? That's weird. Yeah, seems like it. Okay, so final message from Ryuji. But with that, let's go ahead and skip on ahead to the next meaningful difference.
How annoying. We've barely started high school and already they're making us play at a volleyball rally? And why are they pitting us against the teacher team? Kamoshida's gonna crush us. We get to see his technique live and in person though. We should totally get spiked on. Yeah, okay. You're gonna get your face smashed in. Just look at how banged up the volleyball team is. What the hell goes on during their practices?
So I hope you all noticed that little detail in the background. And if you notice in the background, it's not just with An and Suzui that one time. Looks like another sort of instance of someone we recognize, but not at this point in time. Anyway.
Remember how I taught you hold-ups and all-out attacks? I'll teach you their practical use now. There's another use for holdups, besides simply defeating enemies. Shadows are beings born from people's hearts, so naturally they can talk too. In other words, you can communicate with them. Get it? If you talk to them when they're cornered, they might offer money or items since they don't want to die. In fact, talking has a better chance of scoring something great, as opposed to just offing them. Well then, let's do the first step. Knock all the enemies down and do a holdup.
So, you might be wondering why exactly we're doing the shadow negotiations. And that's because there is something a bit different than usual.
They're all knocked down! That was incredible, Joker!
Give me some money and you might live.
For real? Well, something along those lines. Now let it be money or items. Just cough it up. Sorry. Oh, wait, what? Oh, this isn't how I was planning this to go. If that's the case, I guess it's time for you to go to hell. For real? Sorry, but we're in a hurry. Come on!
Sure, I'll let you go. To hell!
What the? What's going on? Cool. I am thou art I. What was that just now? What happened?
So again, like, that didn't really change, but context.
For real? Ah!
So, just like before, we'll be able to change our personas just like it was with the original tutorial of this.
Let's go.
Go ahead and switch on over to Pixie
There.
and just off them.
Is that the shadow from earlier? Don't tell me. Did you take in the shadow's appearance and powers as a persona?
For some reason, I feel like I have a lot more magic. That's because I do. Well, that explains it.
Ravage them.
And we can actually... Huh. I guess if I wanted to get Bicorn, I can.
How's that?
Now, I actually never showed this before. But if you do try to recruit a persona that you had previously, going with all right, I suppose, just goes with the regular negotiations. But you don't need to.
Don't kid. I am thou art I.
So now we've got Bicorn back. So again, you can do that with any person.
Holy! Does that mean you can wield multiple personas?
Thank you for interrupting me, Mona. So, yes, like I said, you can just completely skip negotiations if you are trying to negotiate with a persona that you've already had before.
Hey, Mona, what was that about? What did Joker do?
He sealed the enemy's appearance and powers into his mask and made it his new persona. Is such a feat even possible? Even I've never seen anyone pull that off.
I mean, is that a good thing?
Of course it is. Only one heart exists per person, so normally a person can only have one persona. Incredible! That ability will give us a huge advantage in battle. Alright, try to do that even more if the opportunity arises. You better help out too, Skull.
Hell yeah! We'll hold every last one of them up.
So blah blah blah, negotiations. One thing to notice though, a minor change with Royal is that if you already have the persona on your person, when you say lend me your power, then you won't actually have a negotiation. Instead, you'll gain experience directly to that persona, regardless of whether or not it is equipped. So if you want to raise a specific persona, all you have to do is have it on you, negotiate with a shadow, and go with lend me your power. It is a way to get some extra experience for a specific persona. And of course, if it is already your equipped persona, then you also get the experience at the end of battle for it as well. So, different ways of leveling up your personas, at least those that can be obtained through combat.
I like you even more now. I really do have something special after all.
And that's pretty much it. So let's keep on going. So one more thing that I should probably add. I'm going to go ahead and change my dagger real quick. Because there is something that I wanted to show off that isn't really going to be helpful since I'm in New Game Plus. And that is that if you open a chest that has an item, specifically a new weapon for someone.
Whoa!
You can opt to just automatically equip it.
Alright.
So there's no need to just constantly go through the menus just to equip whatever you got. It's kind of alright in that regard. Whenever that generally happens, I usually go into the menu anyway, just to take a look at how much more attack I get, how much accuracy changes, and if there is any sort of ability. That's going to be a lot less helpful to me because New Game Plus, but just another change that Royal
Reveal your
added.
true form.
Thanks.
Looks like we made it back. Hey, are you okay?
Well, pretty much. Wait, I lied. I'm still confused about all of this.
You may be safe now, but a lot sure did happen back there. At any rate, we stand out too much here. Let's relocate to a safer spot.
Quick side note, there was a blink and you miss it moment.
Which one you want?
So, just keep that in mind. Anyway, let's continue on. Okay, so now that we're back, there is something that I should mention. Now, under normal circumstances, this wouldn't really be much to consider, but I think it is important. And deal specifically with Takemi.
Yes?
Hey, lay off the customers. Sorry if he was rude, Doctor.
I don't mind.
Come on, you're getting in the way. Go on upstairs.
You'll notice that she sounds a little bit different. And that's because Takemi has a different voice actress in Royal. So, yeah.
Thanks. I'll see you later.
Come back again.
Well, that's not good. I see.
Morning.
I maybe shouldn't have fast forward through all that dialogue, but sometimes you will see your various party members kind of come up to you after listening in on a conversation.
Hey, are you listening?
I kind of fast forward through that, but there is something that I wanted to bring attention to, and it's specifically dealing with Mr. Ushimaru. I got a bad feeling about this. Huh?
No way. What?
Hey!
So, a quick note to mention about Mr. Ushimaru. Whenever he is the teacher when you get a message, it's basically a proficiency check. And if you pass it, you get some points into charm. Now, while this was in the original game, this only happened twice, I think, in the entirety of the game. Maybe 3 times. But it's important to note that it happens a lot more often in Royal.
Can I talk?
Yeah, what about her? I remember her, the one in the punk clothes, right?
Actually, hey!
Now, we didn't really get to hear a lot about her new dialogue. However, it is kind of, you know, I think it might be important to kind of hear a little bit more about Takemi's new voice. So, let's go ahead and enter.
This is the clinic that the chief mentioned. Now, how can we get them to give us some medicine?
Well, we're not really sick, so we're gonna have to make something up.
Well, I guess that's the only choice we have. We'll just have to go for it. All right, let's step inside.
So, just as a quick note, I won't be doing this for everything dealing with Takemi, but this kind of opening section I think would be at least a little bit important.
Well,
Yeah, I saw you yesterday at LeBlanc. Well, my body feels a bit lethargic, and I was hoping I could get something to help with that.
please head to the exam room. In a case like yours, it's usually just due to stress. I'm gonna prescribe you some pain relievers, okay?
Okay.
Actually, I still need to restock those. So let's go with sleeping pills instead. Sleep is the best medicine anyway. Which type of pill do you want? A sweet-tasting one or a bitter one?
Is sleep medicine really gonna help? I figured painkillers would maybe help out with that.
Is that right? And I bet you think you should have a year-long supply of them too.
Well, no.
You're not sick at all, are you? I'm not as dumb as I look, you know. I'm guessing you're here because you heard the rumors about me, hmm?
Fine, you caught me.
You're one of those patients with an ulterior motive, huh? What's the world coming to? I guess high school kids have it tough nowadays too, huh? Well, fine. I'll prescribe you some medication.
Wait, really?
But only medication that will help you recover your health. I guess it's fine. You seem pretty earnest, and you don't look like you'll be any trouble. This is my private practice. All the medicine I dispense is original. I have a license to make my own formulas. You've likely seen them being sold at various hospitals. It's your responsibility to take care of yourself. So, if that's okay with you, stop by anytime.
Okay. Thanks. That'll help.
Great. It's nice that you're so quick on the uptake. Saves me the hassle. You're a pretty weird kid, you know? I wonder what you're going to use the medicine for. Well, as long as you don't cause me any trouble, it's not my problem. Okay, which one?
Okay, so unfortunately we don't really have access to a lot of healing. Granted, once we actually get access to Takemi's Confidant again, then we'll get access to everything that we had before.
You want that one?
For the time being though, since I have just a crap ton of money,
That should work.
no sense holding back.
Here you go. You want that
No
Thanks.
harms,
That
and
should
some
work.
alert capsules.
You want
some
that one?
relax gels as
Thanks.
well. You might be wondering, well, don't you have just a crap ton of personas that could heal that sort of thing? And yes, but I also don't want to just completely plow through every single palace. I do actually want to show general difficulty in getting through palaces. Even if I already have an extreme advantage, I don't want it to be complete cakewalks.
That should work. Here you go.
So, yeah, I'm gonna try to not use super powered up personas, although that will mean I have an edge in getting extra medicine and whatnot, but you could get that just by regular grinding anyway. I just happen to have access to it sooner than you normally would.
Take care.
So, I guess this might be a good enough time to just kind of go over EY's stuff, because there are a few things that are a bit different with EY. Now, obviously, the stuff that you can buy from him are the same. All the different types of weapons and whatnot are still pretty much the same. Guns are also pretty much the same as well. As well as the different armors and accessories. The only thing that I would kind of make note of is the fact that while you can still sell, like, most things that you have, one thing to make note of is that you cannot sell guns to EY. So, anytime you have any sort of firearm, that's yours to keep forever. You cannot sell it back to make some money back. So, if you're buying guns for EY, or from EY, make sure you know that that's what you're wanting, especially if you're light on cash. However, we are pretty good in pretty much everything, so we're not gonna bother.
Come again.
And there, EY even says it himself. He no longer will buy any sort of guns off you. So, again, keep that in mind, because that is a bit of a difference between Royal and the original game.
Later.
Kind of weird, because most of this stuff is stuff we buy from him, but whatever. Also, something quick to mention is that I'm not sure if this was actually operational in the original game. But it's operational here. And with it, you can get various different types of rations. Before we actually talked to EY, I actually went and got a few rations here. Thanks, EY. So, yeah, there's a few things here. I got some oatmeal rations from just kind of going through it beforehand. And then you also have this sort of ration, which is interesting since the oatmeal ration seems to be like, I'm not sure if it's rancid gravy or not, but it's one of those. The Tormeshi ration is actually pretty decent. So if you just want to try some luck with some basically gachapon rations, MRE ration. Oh, I did I? Okay, so the MRE is pretty crap. But there are different types of rations that you can get here. So it's there if you want it. Not sure if you really want to, though. Anyway, we're done here. Let's go.
We're just about ready to go to the palace. We just need to assemble some infiltration tools. Clean off that desk back there so we can use it.
Okay, sure.
That desk. Hurry now and clean it up.
Alright.
Great. Now you can make things whenever you want.
So, infiltration tools are also tweaked in Royal.
I'll provide the materials this time. Try making a lockpick.
So infiltration tools, while their functionality is the same, the interface and how you actually go about making them is actually a little bit different. Now, you still get a proficiency boost from making infiltration tools, and your proficiency still dictates how many tools you can make in one session. I'm not sure if this was in the original game, but bad weather will give you basically enough time to help you make an additional infiltration tool.
Don't think too hard about it. You'll get the hang of it.
I guess it's not really present now because it would take our proficiency into account. But you'll see that the interface is very different. So while the items we can make are the same, go homes, lockpicks, calming aromas, smoke screens, vanish balls, and all the other type of stuff, you'll notice that there are only 2 categories as opposed to 3 before, and the whole thing looks a bit different. What's also interesting is the fact that you can actually make multiples. Like, let's say I wanted to make, let's say, 3 lockpicks, and I could make 5 tools total. Instead of doing like a lockpick individual every single time, I could make 3 lockpicks immediately. And you do still have a chance of getting an extra tool. And like before, it would give you an extra point towards raising up your proficiency. Now, unless Morgana is going to force me into making a lockpick.
What's up?
Ah, okay, no, he's totally going to force me to make a lockpick. Well, that's going to be useless. But whatever. So, anyway. Even though this is tutorialized, we can only craft 1, but keep in mind that we will be able to make multiples. So I'll show that off the next time we make infiltration tools, just so I can show you guys exactly what that means.
Everyone starts off a little clumsy. Don't be sad if it doesn't go well at first, okay?
But for the time being, let's go ahead and make a lockpick.
Great. We should be able to use this.
Yeah. I mean, granted, I've kept over a lockpick that never breaks, so this lockpick will forever be in my inventory and will never be used. Oh well.
We should be ready now. We're heading into the palace tomorrow. Let's get some sleep.
Well, that wraps up the homeroom period. A word with you, please?
What did I do?
There's something I'd like to ask you. It won't take long.
Okay.
I see you're already getting on top of the problem I'd mentioned this morning, Miss Kawakami. I appreciate the support.
Thank you again.
Oh, you know this guy, Yoshizawa?
Yes, he lent me a helping hand earlier.
I recommend you steer clear of the likes of him if you have any consideration for your future. Remember the discussion we just had? There are a number of students in this school you shouldn't get involved with. This one's at the top of the list.
Oh, the delinquent transfer student?
Just my luck.
Sorry to interrupt, but I need to use the guidance office.
Oh, pardon me. We should be going too. Don't want to get in the way of guiding this delinquent and all.
Please excuse us.
After you.
That asshole.
I'm gonna get straight to the point. Did something happen between you and Mr. Kamoshida?
Why would you ask that?
Well, there was that little exchange just now, but that's not all. He gave me a brief lecture this morning, and your name came up. Something about the dangers of a lack of supervision.
Huh?
I don't mean to pry, but just make sure you don't go causing trouble, okay? Oh, and one more thing. That girl outside the office, you didn't make a pass at her, did you?
Huh? No. I just happened to run into her on the train the other day. It's nothing like that.
All right. Mr. Kamoshida has a real close eye on you. Apparently, you've been getting involved with Sakamoto-kun. You seem acquainted with Yoshizawa-san as well. Maybe you're just naturally drawn to athletes? Sorry, bad joke.
Athletes?
That's all I wanted to discuss. You're free to go.
Well, that was weird.
Okay.
Probably should have held off on that because there are those various notices that people talk about. And if they include that girl named Yoshizawa, then I probably should hold off on it. But most of the time, like, sometimes she'll just come up in one of those bubbles and the rest will just be same that we've seen in the previous game. So I'm not gonna spend too much time on those. But anyway, we now have free reign to do whatever the hell we want. Kind of. Well, somewhat. Good enough. So, another thing that is different is that the assist functions quite a bit differently than in the original game. Now, the log, it looks identical to how it did previously, but there are also other things that you can do with it. So to access it, you have to hit the touch screen, or touch pad, I guess. It's not really a screen. Played too much on the Wii U. You press on the touchpad, and that activates the assist commands. So it'll give you various different things that can help you along if you're not sure what to do. So you've got the Confidant Assist, which kind of lets you see a few things, like what confidants are available that day at a glance. Status goes with any sort of regular activity, and Square will immediately bring everyone to the hideout. So if you hit any of the directional pad, then it pulls up the same activity log that we've always seen within the last game. So not really much anything different with that. But then you have the other options. So Confidants, we can see that the Takemi is available. And Status, we can see that we could study at the library and be able to gain knowledge. And we can even go directly to that area. Same thing with the Confidants. I never use those functions, and I never use the Square to go to the hideout. The only thing that I use is kind of going over the activity log. Again, just so that way I could see what all is available for that given day. So Ryuji just wants to go to the palace. There is something that I do want to bring up real quick. And that would be heading on over to the library.
Excuse me?
So, library, functionally, is exactly the same. You can borrow books that are based off of the various personas, and you can also spend time studying, which can gain you knowledge and possibly some guts. Yep, that's me. So one thing that's kind of interesting is that I believe the study corner can give you knowledge and guts, but only early on. I believe the option to actually gain guts is lost after a certain point. I think it's after the Kamoshida arc, actually.
What would you like?
Also, something about borrowing books. Functionally, it's still the same. You can only borrow one book at a time. But you'll notice that there is a new book that wasn't in the original game. Well, by that I mean it wasn't here in the original game. Speed Reader. So, Speed Reader is exactly how it was in the original game. Once you read it, then you could essentially get 2 sessions of reading done for any time you read anything. Originally, you had to read the specialty books that required 3 sessions to read in, what was it, Onbyoko? Somewhere around there. The bookstore. But it's actually a lot easier to get the Speed Reader book in this game. In Royal, all you have to do is wait until July 1st. After July 1st, Speed Reader will become available to you. You can read it, and then you'll be able to get done with a lot of reading a lot faster. So yeah, like I said, it's not based on any sort of given day or any sort of specialty event or something like that. No, all you have to do is wait until July. As soon as July starts, that book will always be available to you. So yeah, it's a lot easier to get, and those hard-to-read books are still available too. You can go out and read those eventually when you get access to it. But yeah, just another change that Royal introduces.
Here.
Since stats don't really matter all that much, I'm gonna grab the Great Thief. And another thing that I want to do... Yes, confidant locations. That's not where I wanted to go. Where I want to go next is Central Street. Because there is another thing that is actually quite a bit different. And that would be the diner. Now, the diner was a way for you to gain knowledge as well as other stats depending on what you ordered. Now, in the original game, it was opened up to you immediately, but not in Royal.
Hey,
So, yes, you cannot get access to the diner until after the Kamoshida arc. So, once Kamoshida's deadline passes, then you can get access to the diner. Most other things in Central Street are the same. You've got the various books that you can read to raise up your stats. One thing that is different is the DVD rental shop, which actually, we head on over to Yongen-Jaya real quick. I'm wondering if this is actually available to us right now.
Welcome.
It is. So the DVD player is available to us.
hey,
But we don't have a DV. So, yeah, a little bit of a different method in the fact that before you bought the CRTV at the secondhand shop, whereas now you'll get the TV by cleaning your room in LeBlanc. Although the DVD player is not included, you have to buy the DVD player. And considering that we have the DVD player, but not a TV, I'm going to bet that we can't actually access the DVD rental store. Yeah, we can't access that right now. Oh well, we'll get it soon enough and I can go over the changes that DVDs have. Because surprise, surprise, they're actually kind of helpful now. But that will pretty much do it for the time being. Now let's head on over to Takemi's place real quick. I do have in my notes to actually look into Takemi's confidant. But her rank 1 isn't really all that much different. There is something that's a little bit different afterward, though.
Well,
so let's go ahead and ask about that special medicine. We've got enough time. We can go through the entirety of rank 1. That's not really that big of a deal. Especially since this is Takemi, and again, different voice actress. So we'll go over Takemi's entirety rank 1, but we're not going to be doing this for everyone.
huh?
I have my reasons.
Oh, what are you trying to do?
Huh? I need it for my exams.
Huh?
Yeah, you can never start studying too early for those.
Take care.
You don't understand. I need that medicine. Cost that much, can I work for it at least? Something like that. Huh? would I be doing? Yeah. Clinical trials. Oh, jeez. Huh?
Did you change your mind?
I need this medicine to get through the palace. Oh, jeez. Bottoms up.
What?
Well, it didn't seem too bad. Doesn't seem like any different from normal medicine. What do you mean by... Oh, God!
Good evening. Do you remember anything from the moment you took the medicine until now?
Huh?
By the look in your eyes, I'd say you don't. You briefly woke from your coma, but you were completely dazed during the entire examination. You eventually lost consciousness and fell back asleep. Are you out of your mind? Only an idiot would have drank that.
I told you. It's for my exams.
Fine. By the way, the reason you lost consciousness was because of the taste. It produces a foul smell when it mixes with gastric juices, similar to surströmming. Oh well. All that matters is that thanks to you, I was able to get some good data. Okay, it's my turn to make good on my part of the deal. That's why I waited until you woke up. I don't want the general public to know about my original medicines. So, you're strictly prohibited from disclosing what happens here to anyone. Understood?
Of course. My lips are sealed.
Then it's a deal. As long as you come here for it, I'll give you the medicine at a good price whenever you want. I may even add additional selections in time. I look forward to your continued patronage.
We've now made a deal with Takemi.
Considering all the actions you've taken, you must have had someone with medical expertise. Who? And how did you treat your wounds? It'll be easy to find out who if we look into this, you know.
I am thou. Thou art I. Thou hast acquired a new vow. It shall become the wings of rebellion that breaketh thy chains of captivity. With the birth of the death persona, I have obtained the winds of blessing that shall lead to freedom and new power.
So we have now, once again, established confidant of the Death Arcana with Takemi. And hopefully this also triggers the the New Game Plus abilities as well, now that we've officially started her Confidant. Now, one thing I should note is that there are differences within different Confidants' abilities. By which I mean, the abilities of certain Confidants have changed between the original game and Royal. Sometimes it's just a difference in functionality, and sometimes it's just completely new stuff altogether. When we get to Oya, it's completely changed. But there are quite a few other Confidants that have their abilities changed. One thing that is kind of important also revolves around party members, but I'll get into that once we head back into Kamoshida's palace. Takemi's, I don't think there was anything really all that much different between what she gave in the original game and what she gives in Royal. So I don't think there's anything we really need to go over.
So, when can you come back for the next clinical trial?
Next trial?
Oh, you don't remember that part either? Well, I was saying that teenage test subjects are quite valuable in the medical research industry. So I'll provide you the medicine for your entrance exams, and in exchange, you'll be my guinea pig. I have to perfect this medicine. If you're able to move now, you can go home. All right, take care.
And just like before, we get a point of guts whenever we spend time with Takemi.
Hey.
Of course not. All right. Sounds like a fair trade-off.
All right, take care.
All right, take care.
Hey.
Thanks, boss.
Uh-huh.
So, there are a number of changes within Leblanc as well. Now, there are, of course, just various different ways for us to spend time while we are here in Leblanc. We can, of course, study at the tables like we could before, and we can go to the counter to read. But there is a new function we can do in cleaning LeBlanc. If we choose to clean LeBlanc, we will be able to gain a small amount of points in kindness, and we'll even gain points to Boss's confidant as well. So if you need a couple extra points for Sojiro's confidant and you don't feel like making coffee, you could always just clean LeBlanc. And if you need extra kindness to boot, then there you go. There is also the crossword puzzle, which, while is carried over from the original game, there are some differences with the crossword puzzle. So, the first thing that I want to do would be to take a look at said crossword puzzle. So, what's different with crossword puzzles this time around is that crossword puzzles do not take up time. In the original game, you would be able to gain some knowledge if you were able to successfully solve the crossword puzzle. But whether if you succeeded or failed, if you interacted with the crossword puzzle, it would take up time. Now, it doesn't. It basically acts as free knowledge points.
Hey!
So, always make sure you check the table to see if the crossword puzzle is laying out. And if it is, go to it. Now, thankfully, the only one we need to solve, just like in the original one, is the one where the blue line is highlighted. There are, of course, other puzzles that we can go for and potentially try to narrow down what we're looking for. But what we're looking for specifically is just to answer this simple question in particular. So we need to find a word that signifies how school years are divided. This one's pretty simple. Not all of them are super easy. In fact, some of them are actually pretty difficult. But, I mean, any high school student could tell you this. The answer is semesters. And you even get a little bit of trivia. So, a little bit of knowledge. Obviously, semesters is a bit simple, but some of these actually are kind of interesting. All right.
I see. Nice.
So yeah, you get a single point into knowledge, but again, it's free knowledge. So, it doesn't take up time and you can then spend your evening doing whatever you want. Now, when it comes to cleaning LeBlanc, where you need to go is head on over to the restroom. And here, you can get the cleaning tools in order to clean up. And we'll show that off at one point, a little bit down the line. But what is also interesting is that we can go to LeBlanc's restroom in order to think. You couldn't do this in the original game, but if you decide to head on into the bathroom, you can reflect on your various social stats. Now, since this is New Game Plus, this is very much redundant for me, but this will tell you how close you are into ranking up your various social stats. So there's generally 3 different tiers, I guess, where it will say something related to your social stat. Either you are nowhere near increasing the stat, you're somewhat close to increasing your stat, and you're definitely close to increasing your stat. Almost verbatim how that's worded. So that gives you an idea whether or not you're very far away, you're kind of close, or you are right at the cusp of ranking up your social stats. I don't believe this works for every single restroom. I believe it's just the ones in Leblon and the ones at Shujin. So you can head on to either of those bathrooms and you'll be able to get sort of an update on how close you are into updating, or increasing, I guess, your social stats.
Hey!
So anyway, now with everything kind of settled, I'm gonna go ahead and call it a day again. It's really hard to gauge just how long these episodes are, but yeah, hopefully with a bunch of tutorial stuff taken care of, I won't have super long videos because this has gone on for 2.5 hours. Ugh, everything dealing with Ann's awakening was just a rehash. Oh boy. Okay, but we're calling it a day here. So, next time on Let's Play, Persona 5 Royal. There are still a lot of things that we can go over that are new or changed. We've gone over a lot of them, and we've even seen some new additions. You notice that at the end of Takemi's Confidant, there was that little conversation, and it even gave us points towards Takemi's Confidant. Basically, kind of going over that before we get to the official outro, because I forgot to mention it. A lot of the rank ups for Confidants have a bit of a post scene. So after you are done hanging out with someone, often there'll be a scene afterwards, usually with them calling you, to kind of give a bit of a summary, part of how they're feeling after spending time with you. And they always have an option for you to pick that will determine whether or not you gain points towards their Confidant. So it's basically another, how do I put this? It's another chance to earn Confidant points. Sometimes that can help out in whether or not you actually get enough points to rank up or not. It can potentially help in case you screw something up. That one didn't matter. Anything that's rank 1 obviously doesn't matter. But I do have some notes on what exactly we would need to pick in order to get the most points possible. So we'll be going over those post scenes. Not every Confidant rank up has those, but most rank ups do. So I'll be sure to note what the Confidant is, because we'll be skipping over most of the Confidants, at least those that aren't new. And so you'll often see it just jumps to a post scene. I'll be sure to indicate exactly which Confidant and which rank of that Confidant it is, but we're skipping the actual Confidants because otherwise we'd just be replaying the entire game all over again. And damn it, we gotta speed through this somehow. So anyway, now time for outro. Next time, there's still a few things around Tokyo that we can kind of interact with, things that are new, things that are different. There's not a whole lot left for us to do, but we'll go over a few other things that are new, and then we'll head on over into Kamoshida's palace. Palaces, there's a lot to the palaces, so I think what might end up happening is that I'll just be traversing over the palace as usual, or I might just skip ahead for all new stuff. I do kind of have some generic notes about palaces. I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to be doing this. Even though I have this written down, I'm still kind of going about this as I go. It's very much winging it. But anyway, we'll be likely heading on into Kamoshida's palace next time after going over some more new things. So until next time, everyone, take care.